Broadcasting live from the Murdix VOBS Studio Broadcast Center at Centennial Sportsplex. This is GNASH Hockey on the Middle Tennessee Sports Network, and we have to jump into pregame mode very quick because both teams are on the ice warming up. We got less than 90 seconds left. This is the Preds Cup Losers Bracket semifinal between 3-seed Page Summit and 2-seed Montgomery Bell. So let's talk about Page Summit, the 3-seed, coached by Greg Sowers. Started the Preds Cup with a 3-1 win over Ensworth Lipscomb CPA on February 4th. Then in the winners bracket semis on February 11th, lost 4-1 to Nolensville. Then last Wednesday, that dramatic losers bracket quarterfinal where they beat Hendersonville Beach Lawson 4-3. So let's look at their stats coming into tonight. Come on. Madden Chandler leading scorer. He's got 4 points from 3 goals and an assist. Hudson Halters 3 points all from goals. Aiden Meyer 2 points from a goal and an assist. Hunter Haley 2 points from assist. Braden Owen a point from a goal, and Jonah Ferguson a point from an assist. On the goalie play, Justin Yanuchili has played in all 3 games. His record 2-1. He's played 125 minutes, goals against average of 2.69. No shutouts. He's allowed 8 goals on 85 shots, turned away the other 77. His save percentage in the postseason so far is .906. On to NBA, coached by Max Wutsky. Lost their Preds Cup opener to Nolensville 2-1 on February 4th. February 9th. In the first round of the losers bracket, they beat Ensworth Lipscomb CPA 4-3 in overtime. And then last Wednesday in the losers bracket quarterfinals, defeated Station Camp Liberty Creek, Nashville Christian 5-4. Also in overtime, here are their stats. Trace Graham with 8 points from 4 goals and 4 assists. Matthew Moore, 6 points from a goal and 5 assists. Connor Mazzoni, 4 points from 3 goals, all in that game against Station Camp and 1 assist. Andrew Frick with 3 points from a goal and 2 assists. Henry Burke, 2 points from assist. Ethan Moore, a point from a goal. And Ethan Sides, Cortland Klett, and James Lehrman, each with a point from an assist. On to goalie play. Trip Bland has played in all 3 games. His record 2-1. He's played 130 minutes, goals against average of 2.91. No shutouts. He's allowed 9 goals and 81 shots, turned away the other 72. His save percentage in the postseason so far is .889. Abe Lasher back in the lineup tonight. He was suspended for last week's game against Station Camp because he was called for 4 penalties against Ensworth. And we've gotten live game sheet for both this game and the Brentwood JP2 game down in Bellevue, which will determine the next team knocked out of the Hein Cup. The winner of that game will play Mount Juliet in the losers bracket set on Wednesday. Indy Centennial beating Father Ryan 3-2 in the winners bracket final to determine who to take the first spot in the Hein Cup final next Monday. Father Ryan will play either Brentwood, Mount Juliet, or JP2 in the Hein Cup losers bracket final on Thursday. But the winner of this game will play Franklin in the Preds Cup losers bracket final on Wednesday. Nolensville beating Franklin 2-1 to take the first spot in next Monday's Predators Cup final. Are all the officials here? Yep, they're all here. These 2 teams met back on January 5th, the first night back after the holiday break, and NBA won 3-2. This game is a little more important. Trip Bland ready to go with the start of this one. Trip Bland will start in goal for NBA. Justin Yanuchili starting in goal per Page for this first period. NBA will carry the puck by left to right. Page from my right to left. About to cut the remaining number of contenders in the Preds Cup down from 4 to 3. Who's getting the axe? Time to start answering that question. This game starting 2 minutes ahead of schedule. Page win the draw, bringing it into the NBA zone. Sent down to the inboards. Behind the net, Madden Chandler. Backhands it out in front. A shot from Braden Owen. Right on, stopped by Bland. So Bland making a point-blank save with his leg pads in the first few seconds of the game. Puck cleared out by NBA. Connor Mazzoni, the hero from last week, dumping it into the Page zone. Trying to get it to the slot, and Matthew Moore went off his stick, came to the front of the net. Justin Yanuchili slides out and covers up the puck to get a stoppage. Just 35 seconds in. Drawby to his left. Page win the draw. Bring it out to center. Aiden Meyer. Correction, Hunter Haley, left wing side of the NBA zone. Back hits it to the front of the net. Stopped by Bland. Hudson Alters was right there but couldn't get the rebound. Puck sent back into the Page zone. Put out in front of the net. It's a one-timer score! There had been a collision in front between Yanuchili and an NBA player. It left the right-hand side of the net wide open, and James Lehrman one-times it into the back of the net. The top of the right circle, and it's 1-0 NBA, just 59 seconds in. So 13:01 to go in the first, and it's already 1-0 NBA. Puck on the near side. Sent into the Page zone. Elijah Selby whipping it around the boards of the far side. It's held in for a moment by Henry Burke. Now Aiden Meyer brings it into the NBA zone. Shot from the right half wall. Turned away by Bland. Puck on the near side. Carried around the back of the net by Lasher. Passed up the far side. Elijah Selby with a one-timer from the right point that was blocked. Puck went out to center. Meyer will dump it back into the NBA zone. Puck picked up on the near side. Braden Owen put it out in front, knocked off the stick of Chandler. Here's Chandler. Out on the left wing. Trying to pass it in front of the skates of Andrew Freck. Freck flipping it around to the far side. Duke Dalba trying to clear it out. Went off the stick of Hudson Halters and out. Dump back into the Page zone from center by Dalba. On the near side, NBA making a change. Chandler brings the puck back into the NBA zone. And we have a penalty against Page. An equipment violation. Is it against Madden Chandler for a loose net guard? The referee was pointing at his neck and then giving the 10-minute misconduct sign. That indicates an equipment violation. Yeah, now one of the linesmen confirming it to the NBA bench, and he audibly said misconduct for the net guard. You know, we used to have the players line up at their own blue lines, and then the refs would check if the net guards were right. We stopped doing that. I think it's been about 10 years since we stopped doing that. It's getting close. We haven't done that in a long time. It's not going to be a power play for NBA because it's a 10-minute misconduct. 11:51 left in the first. Big Red already up 1-0. Wow. Oh, it's Jonah Ferguson that was called for it. Okay. Well, that takes Page's top defenseman out of it for a while. Here's Trace Graham, left wing side of the Page zone for the shot. Oh, he hit the post behind and to the left of Yanuchili. Got him down and ring it off the post. Here's a shot in the left circle, turned away by Yanuchili. It was Connor Mazzoni. Puck held in at the left point by Lawson Brown, but poked away from him and out by Camden Mullins. Sent back in from center by Matthew Moore. Couple of NBA players that get back on side. Puck out at center. Here's Hunter Haley back into the NBA zone on the right wing. Carrying it down the boards. Drops it down to the right wing corner. Here's Matthew Moore. Firing it up the far side. Goes past Mazzoni. And all the way down for an icing. 10:51 to go in the first. 1-0 NBA. Draw to the left of Bland. They dropped the puck, and somebody wasn't lined up in the way the officials liked. So they'll drop it again. It's won by Page, trying to get it to the front of the net, taken away by NBA. Lasher. There's Matthew Moore. No correction, Andrew Frett carrying it into the Page zone and taken away, sent around to the near side. Cortland Klett. Now Elijah Selby with a puck for Page. Passing it ahead to Madden Chandler. Chandler out at center. Left wing side of the NBA zone. Passes across. Shot from Braden Owen in the right circle. Correction. Aiden. No, it was Owen. Turned away by Bland. Chandler putting it out in front for Owen again. Knocked away by Abe Lasher. Pass to Chandler and a one-timer from the left face-off dot. Stopped it out onto by Bland. Holding it against his stomach. 10-11 to go in the first. 1-0 NBA. But Page's top line making some early noise. Draw to Bland's right, won by NBA. Lehrman, who has the goal, fires it up the far boards to Mazzoni. Deflects it out to center, picked up by Matthew Moore. Matthew Moore into the Page on the right wing side. A shot off the left leg pad of Yanuchili. Puck comes around to the near side boards. Here's Landon Ellis back into the NBA zone on the left wing. Shot hit the skates of Lehrman. Mazzoni with it now. Trying to pass across to Trace Graham. Intercepted by Landon Ellis. He dumps it back into the NBA zone, but having to get back on side was Liam Garner. Puck passed up the far side. Mazzoni on at center, and it poked away. Lehrman trying to carry it back into the Page zone. He dumps it in. Ryan Ellis dropping it behind the net for Aiden Garner. Garner, stretch pass up the far side, misses the stick of Ellis and goes all the way down into the NBA zone for an icing. 9:15 to go in the first. 1-0 Big Red. Winner of this game will play Franklin in the losers bracket final on Wednesday at 8:45 here on Rink A at Centennial. For the second spot of the Preds Cup final to see who will take on Nolensville next Monday at 8:15 on the Chris Brink in Bellevue. Draw was to the left of Yanuchili. Page win it, dump it down. Lawson Brown with it in his own zone. Fires it up the far boards. Knocked down by Camden Mullen. Held into the right point by Hudson Halters. Mullen trying to kick it down. Gets knocked down to the right half wall, and it's cleared. Nope, it's going to be a penalty. Lawson Brown's going to go to the box for that hit on Mullen. Interference. So Page will get the first power play of the game, down 1-0 with 8:54 to go in the first. Brentwood JP2 game underway down in Bellevue. Joe Hiller got called for, wow, Joe Hiller and Brody Bowman got called for equipment violations as well. Wow. And it is Ethan Hickerson in goal for JP2 tonight, so Collier Owens still unable to go with that ankle injury he suffered in the Mount Juliet game a couple of weeks ago. Draw to the left of Bland, won by Page. Aiden Gardner passing across to the right circle. Now Madden Chandler from the high slot, a shot. Took a deflection and went past the net. Hunter Haley on the far side. Now Chandler at the right point. Haley at the center point. Haley taking a shot. Scored! Leaks through Brandon in! Haley with a shot from the center point that got through traffic, leaked through Bland into the back of the net. And Page tied the game at 1 with 8:33 to go in the first. Draw one by Page. Giving away at center to Lasher. Lasher backhands it into the Page zone. Coming on goal or coming to the front of the net. Yanuchili decides to stop and cover. Draws to the right of Yanuchili. One by MBA and a shot from Matthew Moore. Correction, Cortland Klett stopped and held on to by Yanuchili. He'll drop it to his right again. One by MBA, another shot from the slot, and Klett stopped by Yanuchili. He didn't know where the rebound was at first. He was able to scoop it off the ice with his glove and hang on. He'll drop it to Yanuchili's right again. One by the Big Red. Held in at the left point, Henry Burke. Carrying it down the left wing, getting off a shot. Gloved and held on to by Yanuchili. They're going to drop it to his right again. Page trying to win the draw and get it out. Puck pinned up against the far boards. Aiden Meyer dropping it behind the net for Reeve Gable. Sent around to the far side. Braden Owen will clear. Unable to keep it alive was Henry Burke, and since he made a play at it, they said it went off his stick. So no icing. Puck back in the NBA zone. Cleared out by Andrew Freck. Aiden Meyer passing it ahead to Madden Chandler. Chandler left wing side of the NBA zone. Passing it to Meyer. Here's Braden Owen putting it in front for Meyer. Hit his shot stopped by Bland right as he got to the front of the net. This top line from Page are making some noise early. 1-1 with 7:31 to go in the first. Draw is to the right of Bland. One by Page, turned over to NBA. Here's Connor Mazzoni, right wing side of the Page zone, taking a shot, misses the net to the right of Yanuchili. Puck held in at the left point, a shot turned away by Yanuchili. That was from Henry Burke. Now puck cleared out to center, but right to Burke, who dumps it back into the Page end. Page with it, trying to get it out of their zone. Conley Meeks backhanding it up the far. Cleared out to center. Here's Liam Garner into the NBA zone. Round Freck gets off a shot that was slowed. I'm sorry, it was Lehrman. Gets off a shot that was slowed up with a stick of Lehrman and softly came on goal where Trip Bland could steer it away. NBA dump it back down into the Page end, no icing. Spartriots with a puck. And knocked loose by NBA. Puck coming to the front of the net, but Page defender slid out like a baseball player sliding into home and kind of took out Connor Mazzoni in front of his own net. Not sure who that was, but Page iced the puck. 6:50 to go in the first. Game tied at 1. Wow, Joe Hiller and Brody Bowman in that Brentwood JP2 game were both called for hooking, and then their equipment violations were caught. So one-timer from the left circle, and Andrew Freck turned away by Yanuchili, and then the puck ends up going out of play behind the Page bench. But, yeah, that's nuts. They were both called for hooking, and then their equipment violations were noticed, and those were called. Draw to the left of Yanuchili. NBA with it. Abe Lasher carried it down the right wing. A shot turned away by Yanuchili. Puck out in front of the net. Page sending it to the near side boards. Sent back across to the far side. Picked up by Aiden Garner. Held in at the left point and sent back down low by Cortland Klett. Puck sent around to the far side. by Ryan Ellis. Again held in, this time by Lawson Brown. He fires it around. Klett out at center. Now James Lehrman sending it back up the near side. Here's Klett. High slot shot, blocked away by Yanuchili. Aiden Garner behind his own net, banks it off the far boards. Held in at the left point by Louis Jalovic. Tossed to the front of the net, blocked, I think. Now the puck is carried out to center by Madden Chandler. Back into the NBA zone on the right wing side. Chandler passes the slot. Oh, and Hudson Alters shoots it past the net to the right of Bland. Jalovic doesn't have his stick. Puck passed up the slot. Held into the blue line by Reeve Gable. He dumps it back towards the right wing corner. Chandler leaves into the end boards for Braden Owen. Put out in front. Nobody in a blue sweater there, and it goes all the way back down into the Page zone. Yanuchili will give it off to Garner. Aiden Garner to center. Passing it ahead, hit the skates of Matthew Moore. Moore back into the Page zone. Trying to pass it to the slot, intercepted by Chandler. He'll bring it out to sit. No, he does not. Kind of went off the back of Owen's skates for a second. Now it's brought back into the NBA zone. Aiden Meyer in the left wing corner, driving it behind the net for Owen. Now to the end boards and Chandler. Chandler trying to bank it out in front. Meyer runs into the NBA net and knocks it out of position. Knocks it off the moorings. .448 to go in the first. The game is tied at 1. And they're going to drop the puck on the dot in front of the NBA bench at center. Won by the Big Red. Abe Lasher setting it up the far boards. It's in the Page zone. Brought out by the Spartriots. Aiden Meyer at center. Back into the NBA zone on the right wing side. His shot from the top of the right circle. Blocked by Henry Burke. He gets the rebound. Carries it to the front of the net. His shot stopped and covered up by Bland. JP2 leading Brentwood. 1-0 lead in the first. Carter Bohoric with a goal in that second Hein Cup Losers Bracket quarterfinal. The winner will play Mount Juliet on Wednesday night here at Centennial at 7:10 in the Hein Cup Losers Bracket semifinal. We'll have that game for you. 7:05 pregame for a 7:10 faceoff. Puck back in the NBA zone. Braden Owen couldn't hang on to it. James Lehrman tried to clear, knocked down by Madden Chandler. Chandler out to the slot, shot over the net. Here's Aiden Meyer trying to keep it in, but he turns it over. Duke Dalba out at center. Dalba back into the Page zone. Nice move, gets off a shot. It's deflected past the net to the right of Yanuchili off a Page stick. Clearing attempt held into the right point by Abe Lasher. Now the puck out at center. Lawson Brown with it, passing it up the far side. Dalba back into the Page zone. It poked off his stick on the left wing by Elijah Selby. Tried to clear, held into the left point, and sent back down low by Andrew Freck. Page with it again. Flipped to center. Played with a high stick by Blasher. It's back in the NBA zone. Hunter Haley's going to get to it to wash it out. Puck put out in front. Swatted away from the front of the net by Lasher. Haley. Now Lehrman flips it out to center. Aiden Garner with it. Brings it back into the NBA zone. Taking a shot from the left circle. Went off the skates of Louis Jalovic past the net to the right of Bland. Here's Haley at the inboards. Putting out in front for Tyler Bell. Intercepted by Matthew Moore. Puck passed up the far side out to center. Flipped back in by Garner. A couple of Page players to get back on side. Lasher carries it out. Has it poked off his stick right of the Page blue line. Pass to the NBA blue line. Intercepted by Henry Burke. Pass back to the far side. And Abe Lasher, who chips it back into the Page zone and then comes to the bench for a change. Puck passed up the far side. Here's Landon Ellis dumping it back into the NBA zone. It's behind the net. Lawson Brown sending it around to the near side. Henry Burke. Didn't get enough of a push to get it out. Held in by Hudson Halters for a moment. Then cleared out by Trace Graham. Connor Mazzoni back into the Page zone. Gets run into. Knocked down near the high slot by Ryan Ellis. That allows Page to clear it out. No, Matthew Moore kept the puck in at the right point. Trace Graham trying to go to the front of the net all alone. It's swatted off his stick from behind by Elijah Selby. Henry Burke keeping the puck alive, backhanding it to the inboards from the top of the right circle. Puck behind the net, passed out to the far side. Landon Ellis will clear. Henry Burke sends it back in, but it's carried right back out by Ryan Ellis. Passes to the far side, back into the NBA zone off the boards. Lawson Brown across to Henry Burks. Burks trying to backhand it out to center. Carried back in by Camden Mullen. Mullen backhands it to the right wing corner glass. Here's Henry Burke. Ahead to Duke Dalba. Over to Cortland Klett. Klett right wing side of the Page zone. Pushed off the puck by Reeve Gable, who couldn't carry it out. Duke Dalba carries it out to center. Passes to the far side and Andrew Freck. Got pushed off the puck by Braden Owen, allowing Conley Meeks to send it back into the NBA zone. Here's Meeks. Sent the puck down to the bottom of the right circle, was intercepted and carried out by James Lehrman, who nearly fumbled it near his own blue line. Sends it back into the Page zone. Minute left in the first. Aiden Meyer at center on the near side. Back into the NBA zone, trying to backhand it to the front of the net. Went past the net to the right of Bland. Here's Abe Lasher on the far side, clearing it out. Reeve Gable with it at center. Drops it back to Aiden Garner. Garner passing up the far side to Braden Owen, who deflects it back into the NBA zone. It's quickly cleared out. From the referee's crease at center, Lawson Brown ends up shooting it into the Page bench, trying to dump it back into the Page zone. 31.9 seconds to go in the first, of the game is tied at 1. The draw is going to be right at center ice. Draw one by Page. 30 seconds left in the first. Turned over to NBA. Matthew Moore, left wing side of the Page zone. Had the puck knocked off his stick and out. Connor Mazzoni keeping it away from Braden Owens. Sends it back into the Page end. Puck sent around the boards to the far side. Trace Graham trying to go to the slot. Couldn't keep it on his stick. Puck coming around to the far side. Braden Owen will clear. Lawson Brown sends it back in. Page with it, and they'll run out the clock on the first. James Lehrman scoring the first goal just 59 seconds in. And then a little over 4 minutes later, Hunter Haley tying it up for Page on the power play. So Page, Summit, and Montgomery Bell are tied at 1 after 1 in the Predators Cup Losers Bracket semifinal. I'll be back in a few seconds with the start of the second. But if you're listening on the YouTube podcast, we're going to go ahead and take you to the start of the second period. We're ready to start the second period of this one. Justin Yanuchili still in goal for Page. Trip Bland still in goal for NBA for this second period. Page will carry the puck from my left to right. NBA from my right to left. Page win the draw to start the second and dump it into the NBA zone. Puck in the left wing corner, Abe Lasher. Is it taken away, and not a very good shot from, I think, Elijah Selby on that far side. Puck held in by Hudson Halters and dumped back to the inboards. Correction, that was Hunter Haley on that shot attempt that wasn't so good. Big hit on the near side boards. Abe Lasher out at center up. There's going to be a penalty against Page. Lasher into the Page zone, trying to go to the slot, but the puck got away from him and it was touched up by Aiden Garner. He was starting to go to his forehand shot, but the puck got away. Interference. So who's in the box? It's Tyler Bell in the box for Page. So NBA getting, I think, their first power play of the game, and the game tied at 1, 13:24 left in the second. Draw is to the left of Yanuchili. Draw one by NBA, but Page trying to get out of the zone. Held in Duke Dalba. Going up to the right half wall. Pass out to the blue line, but it goes out to center. Trace Graham with it. Passes to Lasher. Lasher left wing side of the Page zone. Around the back of the net. Passes out to the right point, and Graham. Graham with a shot. Takes a deflection. Stopped by Yanuchili off his left leg pad. And it's fired down ice by Jonah Ferguson, whom very early on in the first was given a 10-minute misconduct for an equipment violation for a loose net guard. He is now back on the ice, and that's big for Page. Puck dumped back into the Page zone. It was an icing. It was just behind the red line. Abe Lasher from behind the red Page zone for an icing. 81 seconds left in the power play. 12:45 to go in the second. Still tied at 1 in the Spreads Cup Losers Bracket semifinal. Winner will play Franklin on Wednesday night in the Losers Bracket final. Here on Rink A at Centennial at 8:45. The loser of their season is over. Draw to the right of Bland. Won by Page. Shot in the left circle. Stopped by Bland. That shot was from Hudson Halters. Now here come NBA. Puck brought out to center by Trace Graham. Graham brings it back into the Page zone. Forced to go around the back of the net by Elijah Selby. Pushed into the right wing corner boards by Jonah Ferguson, who tries to clear the puck out. Held into the right point by Abe Lasher. Sent to the front of the net. A shot stopped by Yanuchili. Oh, and then from the right-hand side of the net, Graham sends it across the front of the net. And then Matthew Moore can't keep the puck alive at the right point. Oh, NBA were so close to regaining the lead as they are called for an offside as the puck was sent back in. Puck came to the right-hand side of the net, and Graham fired it across the front of it. It's an intentional offside called against NBA. 44 seconds left in their power play. 12:08 to go in the second. Still 1-1. Draw's going to be to the right of Trip Bland. It's won by the Big Red. Puck sent to the far side. Here's Matthew Moore. Across to the near side, Abe Lasher. Lasher back into the Page zone on the left wing. Takes a shot off the left arm of Yanuchili. 30 seconds left in the power play for NBA. Reeve Gable clearing the puck out at the far side. It's back in the Big Red zone. Tracked down by Matthew Moore. Moore. Back to center. Back into the Page zone, trying to flip the puck through the air on his stick. Then when he went to shoot, went off the stick of a Page player into the netting above the glass. 7 seconds left in the power play for NBA. 11:31 to go in the second. Game still tied at 1. Draw to the left of Yanuchili. Won by Page. Here's Reeve Gable behind his own net, sending it to the near side. Slapped off the boards and out. Just barely went out by Braden Owen. Andrew Frick almost kept it alive. Now at the other end, Aiden Meyer with a shot. Top of the right circle into the chest of Bland, who hangs on for the whistle. Penalty time against Page is up, and they are now back at even strength. It's now 2-0 JP2 over Brentwood down in Bellevue. David Bavis with the most recent goal for the Knights. Draw is to the left of Bland. Won by NBA, cleared out of the zone. Here's Cortland Klett, left wing side of the Page zone, trying to put it in front for Ethan Sides, but Yanuchili able to put the stick out and deflect it away from the front of the net before Sides could get off a shot. Puck in the right wing corner. Brought out in front by Klett, a shot turned away by Yanuchili, and nobody in a white sweater there to bang in the rebound, standing in the right-hand side of the net. Here's Aiden Meyer banging the puck off the near boards. Held in at the left point by Klett. Klett a shot, gloved and held on to by Yanuchili. The games I've covered this season for NBA, I've not seen the second line make a lot of noise for them, but that one did there. It's been mostly this top line of Moore, Matthew Moore, Trace Graham, and whoever lines up with him on the right wing. At the moment, it's Connor Mazzoni. Draw to the right of Yanuchili. Won by NBA, and a shot from the left point. Glosson Brown, gloved and held on to by Yanuchili. Draw to his right again. Won by Page. Cleared out to center by Tyler Bell, but turned back over to the Big Red. It's back in the Page zone. Cleared out by Ryan Ellis. I don't know how that didn't go into the NBA bench. Dumped back in by the Big Red. Ellis picks it up again. Behind his own net. Banks it off the near boards and out. Hit the skates of Lawson Brown out at center. Trace Graham will dump it back in from the red line, just past the red line. Puck in the left wing corner. Now Connor Mazzoni, bottom of the left circle, fires it past the net. Mazzoni one to watch after that hat trick against Station Camp last Wednesday. Jonah Ferguson with a puck. Passing it up the near side, Tyler Bell will one-hand it into the NBA zone and then go to the bench for a change. Puck just goes over the blue line. Ferguson with it again. Makes it off the near boards back into the NBA zone, but it's quickly cleared out again for an icing by Lawson Brown. 9:31 to go in the second, and the game is still tied at 1. Draw is going to be to the left of Trip Bland. One by Page, and a shot from Madden Chandler to be turned away by Bland. Here's Chandler again in the right wing corner. Behind the net. Brings it out to the left circle. Trying to put it in front for Camden Mullen. Comes to the right-hand side of the net, covered up by Bland. It's actually Conley Meeks trying to put it out in front for Mullen. But Bland smothered that pass attempt. Draw be to his right. One by Page and a shot in the bottom left circle. Stopped by Bland. And he covers up the rebound as Camden Mullen was trying to stuff it in. Was Chandler with that shot. And yet again, we've got the scorekeeper counting home shot or away shots on the home side. Just like they were doing early in the second in the Nolensville-Franklin game. They were giving Franklin shots to Nolensville. Draw to Bland's right as one of the linesmen pushes the net back into place. 9:09 to go in the second, game tied at 1. NBA trying to clear it out, held in at the blue line. That's out at center, Elijah Selby trying to pass across Reeve Gable, who fell over. Cortland Klett to the slot, shot over the net. Wow, Reeve Gable fell over and gave Cortland Klett that space, and he fires it over the net from the Page slot. Now he has the puck again in the Page zone, this time on the right wing side, knocked off his stick. Madden Chandler comes in to pick it up. Pokes it out to center for Mullen, Camden Mullen. Left wing side of the NBA zone, dumps it down the boards. Now the puck drifting out to the far side. Abe Lasher will bring it to center. Back into the Page zone. Knocked off his stick by Tyler Bell. He knocks Bell down. And it's Hunter Haley, I think. No, it's Reeve Gable that he knocked down. They were both laying on the ice while Chandler stood over them and tried to knock the puck loose. It's on the near side now. Cleared out by Elijah Selby. Puck back in the NBA zone. Passed up the far side. Matthew Moore, right wing side of the Page end. Going to go around the back of the net. Out to the near side. Hands it off Lasher, and it knocked off his stick by Selby. Here's Aiden Meyer being pushed into the inboards by Andrew Freck. Puck comes out to the right-hand side of the net. Jabbed away by Yanu Chile. Freck. Correction, that's James Lehrman keeping it alive at the left point. And he knocked it down onto the stick, I think, of Andrew Freck. And that brings about a whistle for a hand pass. 7:39 to go in the second. This game is still tied at 1. Draw on the dot in front of the NBA bench. One by the Big Reds, sent into the Page zone. It's behind the net. Jonah Ferguson. Passing it to the middle of the ice, and Aiden Gardner. Stretch pass up the near side. Braden Owen for Aiden Meyer. Now a shot from the left wing side, and Liam Garner, I think, went over the net, went over the NBA net. Aiden Meyer from his own zone. Passing it up the near side. Off the stick of Braden Owen into the NBA, the left-hand side of the net by Lehrman. Here's Trace Graham out at center. Dumping the puck back into the Page zone. Whipped around the boards to the near side by Braden Owen. Clearing attempt, knocked down by Matthew Moore. Then Owen takes it, brings it to center, hands it off Liam Garner. Garner, left wing side of the NBA zone, gets off a shot, turned away by Bland. Steered away with a block. Puck back in the Page end. Trace Graham with it, bottom of the left circle, then it poked away by Jonah Ferguson. Kept alive at the left point by Andrew Freck. Freck down the left wing. Trying to put it in front for Graham, went off the stick of Ferguson over the net. Held in at the left point by Abe Lasher. But Aiden Meyer able to flip it out. Down up the far side. Louis Jalovic catches up to it inside the NBA zone. And his pass attempt was broken up for a moment by Liam Garner. Duke Dalba brings the puck back into the Page zone. Gets off a shot that would have missed the net to the right of Yanuchili, but he kicks it away with a right leg pad anyway. Puck cleared out, Jalovic. Send it back into the Page zone, but everybody had to get back on side. So here's Jonah Ferguson trying to stretch pass up the near side, up the far side that went off the stick of Hudson Halters, canceling out any icing. NBA bringing it out to center. Here's Andrew Freck. Back into the Page zone in the slot. Couldn't get past Aiden Garner. Puck sent up the far boards. Here's Garner. Passing it up the near side to Tyler Bell off his stick and out. And it goes for an icing. 5:24 left in the second, and the game is still tied at 1. Draw is to the right of Yanuchili. One by Page, trying to get it out of the zone. Matthew Moore takes it away, holds it into the blue line. Carries it out, right circle. Trying to put it in front, hit a Page player. Here's Lawson Brown with a shot in the top of the left circle. That misses the net to the left of Yanuchili. Hunter Haley able to poke the puck out at the right point. James Lehrman flips it back in. Matthew Moore to get back on side. Puck at the inboards of the Page zone. Matthew Moore trying to put it in front, sends it to the front of the net, steered away by Yanuchili. And then Mazzoni tried to flip it out in front. Yanuchili deflected it up in the air with his stick and then caught it against his chest, backing up against his own crossbar to get the whistle. As Selby and Lawson Brown are having to be separated in the right wing corner. 4:48 left in the second. Game is still tied at 1. It has been more than a period since Hunter Haley's game-tying power play goal in the first. Draw is to the left of Yanuchili. It's won by NBA, but turned over to Page and cleared out by Jonah Ferguson. Braden Owen, left wing side of the NBA zone, trying to get to the front of the net. Shot stopped and covered up by Trip Bland. Draw will be to the right of Bland. One by NBA. Puck sent around the boards to the near side. Sent into the Page zone, quickly cleared out by Reeve Gable. Abe Lasher at center. Brings it back into the Page zone on the right wing side. Around the back of the net. It's in front, Connor Mazzoni, a shot. Off the right leg pad. Actually, I think it may have hit the outside of the post to the right of Yanuchili, who backed into the net and dislodged it and then pulled it back into place. Play carries on back into the NBA zone as the second referee helped put the net back in place. Back at the other end. Oh, point-blank save by Trip Bland. Across the crease past Aiden Meyer, who one-timed it off the right leg pad of Bland, and then the puck iced by NBA, but I think they were kind of gypped on that call because it went off the right leg pad of Yanuchili and then past the net. 3 left in the second. Game still tied at 1. Drawby to Bland's left. Puck to the end boards. Comes out to the right point, and a shot from Aiden Garner off an NBA stick into the netting above the glass. Draws to the left of Bland again. One by Page. Garner right point with a shot into traffic blocked. It hit Andrew Freck, who tries to clear it out, held into the blue line by Tyler Bell. Sent back down the wall. James Lehrman smacking it around to the far side now. It'll be an icing. Drawby to the right of Bland this time. Shot on the far side. Elijah Selby with a shot from the left point. Blocked in front. Andrew Freck. Back into the Page on the left wing side. A shot gloved and held on to by Yanu Chile. 3:06 to go in the second. And the game is still tied at 1. Draws to Yanu Chile's right. Both teams with their big guns out there. They drop the puck, and referee on the far side blows the whistle to stop play. They drop it again. NBA win. There's a one-timer from the right point, and Abe Lasher didn't get enough wood on it. Matt Chandler intercepts, brings it back into the NBA zone, gets off a shot just above the left wing corner, stopped and held on to by Trip Bland. Of course, it was Chandler who caught Griffin Rumbaugh slightly out of position with 32 seconds left in regulation last Wednesday against Hendersonville and fired the puck into the top corner, top left-hand corner of the Commando net to win the game. Draw to the right of Bland, won by NBA. Here's Lasher through center, back into the Page zone on the left wing side. Trying to get to the front of the net, backhands it past the net to the right of Yanu Chile. Trace Graham behind the net, flips it up the slot to Henry Burke. Not enough wood in his shot, knocked away by Elijah Selby. Puck still on the zone, sent around the boards to the far side. Chandler, pass get ahead to Braden Owen. Owen out at center. Back into the NBA zone, got knocked off the puck, and Aiden Meyer couldn't keep it in the zone. Trace Graham back at the Page end, pushed into the boards by Elijah Selby as he dumped the puck into the Page zone. Aiden Garner behind his own net. Garner out to center. Dumps it back into the NBA zone. Puck on the near side. Here's Connor Mazzoni, backhanding it to the far side. Into the Page zone. And it was Cortland Klett going to the left-hand side of the net. And his shot gloved and held onto by Yanu Chile. Minute 44 left in the second. And this game is still tied at 1. Draw is to the left of Yanu Chile. One by Page. Puck banked off the near side boards. Hunter Haley to center. Haley dumps it into the NBA zone. Puck sent around to the near side. Ethan Sides will dump it into the Page zone. It's in the left wing corner. Duke Dalba put it into the skates of Hudson Halters, who brings it out to center. Halters backhanding it to the far side. Hunter Haley trying to catch up to it on the left wing side of the NBA zone, getting off a shot. That's knocked down by Bland. Here's Duke Dalba, minute left in the second. Dalba back in the Page zone, a shot, hit Brian Ellis. Hit him in the shins. Jonah Ferguson on the far side trying to clear. Knocked down by Dauba. And then Ferguson gets a second attempt and clears it out. Or a second chance and clears it out. James Lehrman with a shot, top of the left circle. Hit the skates of Ryan Ellis. Puck put out in front by Ethan Sides. Intercepted and cleared out by Madden Chandler. So being icing against Page. 38.5 seconds to go in the second, and the game is tied at 1. Draw to the right of Yanachili. One by NBA, and a shot from Trace Graham hit a Page skate. Puck on the far side, held into the right point by Blaster. No, it did just go over the blue line and was brought back in offside. Under 30 seconds left in the period, 29.5 to be exact. Draw will be on the dot in front of the bleachers across from the NBA bench. Ends up in the Page zone, cleared up by Elijah Selby. Brought back into the right wing side by Trace Graham. Graham with a shot from the bottom of the right circle. Gloved and held onto by Yanachili. Draw will be to Yanachili's left once again. One by NBA, a shot from Trace Graham at the right point, blocked. From the right dot, it's fired across the front of the net, actually through the top of the crease by Matthew Moore. Out at center with it, Connor Mazzoni, backhanding it to the far side. Moore back in the Page zone, faked the slapper, then fires it past the net to the left of Yanachili from the top of the right circle. Puck on the far boards, Moore again sending it to the front of the net. Graham tried to tip it, it went past the net. I don't think it would have counted anyway because time ran out. So Page Summit and Montgomery Bell came into the second period of this Preds Cup Losers Bracket semifinal tied at 1, and they leave the second still tied at 1. I'll be back in a few seconds with the start of the third, but if you're listening on the YouTube podcast, I'm going to go ahead and take you to the start of the third period. Ready to start the third period of this one. Trip Bland still in goal for NBA. Justin Yanachili still in goal for Page for this third period. NBA will carry the puck from my left to right, Page from my right to left. If we're still tied when this third period ends, we go to a 5-minute 3-on-3 sudden death overtime, and if that doesn't resolve it, a shootout will. NBA win the draw to start the third. Puck in the Page zone, but quickly cleared out by Elijah Selby. Now here's Hunter Haley, right wing side of the NBA zone. Passing the puck to the slider, trying to get it to Hudson Alters. Goes off his stick, comes to the front of the net, and Trip Bland covers. And that brings the first whistle after 15 seconds of play down in Bellevue. It's still 2-0 JP2 over Brentwood in the third period of that Hein Cup Losers Bracket quarterfinal. Draw to the left of Bland. One by NBA, puck center around the boards to the near side. And the Big Red will clear it down ice into the Page zone, no icing. Passed up the near side by Elijah Selby. Pass to the slot, Matthew Moore, score! I don't know what happened there. But the puck came to Matthew Moore in the slot, and he fires it into the back of the net to give NBA a 2-1 lead. Just 37 seconds into the third. 13:23 to go. Draw one by Page. Puck in the NBA zone. Quickly cleared out. Intercepted at center by Madden Chandler. He dumps it back in. Henry Burke cleared it out the first time, and he clears it out the second time. And this time, nope, no icing. Reeve Gable able to catch up to it. So Page behind early in this third. Can they get one to tie it? Here's Braden Owen passing the puck behind the net to Aiden Meyer, trying to put it back out in front for Owen, who couldn't get his stick on it. Brought out to center by Duke Dauba. Pushed down from behind, I think by Camden Mullen, who's going to go to the box for it. Or is it Chandler? It's Chandler. A roughing call against Madden Chandler. 12:40 left in regulation. NBA up 2-1, and they go back on the power play. Draw to the right of Yanuchili. And Matthew Moore will step off the faceoff dot. Connor Mazzoni will take it. One by Page. Aiden Garner trying to fire it down ice. Went off the left hand of Matthew Moore. Popped up into the air. And then Aiden Meyer swatted it out to center with his right hand. Abe Lasher in his own zone. Drops it back to Mazzoni. Oh, Mazzoni left it behind. Abe Lasher trying to clear. And he'll bring it out. Now it ends up back in the NBA zone. Aiden Meyer dropping it down the boards. And whistle blown because it looked like Matthew Moore and Aiden Meyer may have had their helmets stuck together for a second. 90 seconds left in the power play. 12-10 to go in regulation. Still 2-1 Big Red. Draw will be to the right of Bland. One by NBA. Here's Trace Graham. Sending it up the far side. Graham out at center. Back into the Page zone on the right wing. A shot. Stopped it all onto by Yanuchili. Got it between the knees. If Page don't come back and win this game, they're going to say goodbye to a lot of talent. A lot of talent. Draw to Yanuchili's left. One by NBA. Abe Lasher moving down the left wing. A shot, score! Lasher moves into the left circle. Fires it into the back of the net to convert the power play and put NBA up 3-1 with 11:48 left in regulation. Here NBA with a puck off the draw. Sent into the Page zone, I think by Ethan Sides. Yeah, it was Ethan Sides. Camden Mullen clearing it out to center. Sent back the other way by Lawson Brown. It's back in the Page zone. Now the puck behind the net, trying to put it out in front was Cortland Klett. That's on the near side boards of the Page zone. Held into the blue line. Connor Mazzoni, a shot blockered away by Yanuchili. Puck comes back to the left point, and Mazzoni's shot again doesn't get through. It's cleared out by the Spartriots for an icing. 10:56 left in regulation. 3-1 NBA. Draw to the right of Yanuchili. Won by the Big Red, but taken away by Page. Went out to center, and Trace Graham backhands it back into the Page zone. It'll be brought out by Elijah Selby. Here's Aiden Meyer dumping it back into the NBA end. Sent up the far boards. Matthew Moore, now Duke Dalba, clearing it out. Back in the Page zone. It's out at center with the Spartriots again. Madden Taylor had it taken off his stick from behind by Abe Lasher. We get a whistle. I'm not sure what for. Is it going to be a penalty against Lasher? Maybe he slashed Chandler when he was trying to take it away. Yep, that's what they're calling. So Page back to the power play, down 3-1 with 10:21 to go in regulation. They got a score on this one. Draws to Bland's right. One by NBA and immediately cleared. Here's Aiden Garner. Carrying it through center. Into the NBA zone on the right wing side. Can't get past Lawson Brown. Oh, but he did manage to get past Brown with a puck, but then he couldn't get off the shot. Had to go behind the net and put it out in front. It was intercepted and cleared. Braden Owen will track it back down inside the Page zone. Passes up the far side, Aiden Garner. Trying to get it across to Madden Chandler off his stick back into the NBA zone. And slapped out by James Lehrman. Here's Aiden Meyer, right wing side of the NBA zone. Drops it back to Madden Chandler. Chandler moving along the blue line. Shot hit the skates of Andrew Freck. Puck on the near side. Freck with one hand trying to sweep it out. Chandler keeps it near the blue line but can't keep it in his stick. The shot from the left wing side of the Page zone steered away by Yanu Chile. That was from Cortland Klett. Less than a minute left on the power play for Page. Here's Jonah Ferguson, left wing side of the NBA zone. Trying to backhand it out in front. Madden Chandler keeps it in at the blue line. Passes down on the left wing corner and Ferguson. Ferguson behind the net. Puts that in front. Nobody in a blue sweater there. And the puck's going to drift out to center. Less than 30 seconds left on the power play for the Spartriots. Camden Mullen ahead to Chandler. Flicked away from him by Lawson Brown. Here's Ferguson. Bringing it back into the NBA zone as it poked off his stick. Andrew Frick can't clear it out. Now Cortland Klett will. That should kill off the rest of the penalty. Yanu Chile will leave it at the inboards for Hudson Halters. Penalty time against NBA is up the back at even strength. Halters passing it to the near side, and Elijah Selby brings it back into the NBA zone. Well, I thought Hudson Halters was offside. I thought he was over the blue line before the puck was brought in. It's cleared out by NBA anyway. Liam Garner dumps it back into the NBA zone. Hit the skates of James Lehrman, who tries to clear. Slap back in. Slap back down the wing by Reeve Gable, and a clearing attempt by Ethan Sides hit the skates of Hudson Halters. Lehrman passing it up the near side, deflects it off the stick of Trace Graham. Here's Duke Dauba, left wing side of the Page zone. Now Graham. Graham falls over in the left circle. There's a shot from Ethan Sides. It's blocked. Now the puck drifting past the net to the left of Yanu Chile. And we get a whistle because the net was knocked out of position. 7:26 left in regulation. Still 3-1 NBA. Draw's going to be to the right of Yanu Chile. One by Page, tried to carry it out of the zone. It was held in by NBA, and a shot from Freck off the glove of Yanu Chile. Puck on the near side boards. Here's Abe Lasher, keeping it alive. Here's Conley Meeks clearing it out on the near side. Abe Lasher inside his own zone, quickly gets it out. Matthew Moore back into the Page zone. Cleared out by the Spartriots for another icing. 6:31 left in regulation. Still 3-1 NBA. Down in Bellevue, it is now 2-1. JP2 over Brentwood. Ben Marshall scoring for the Bruins with just under 3 minutes left in regulation. Can Brentwood find the goal? Maybe force that thing to overtime. Draw to the left of Yanu Chile. One by Page. Clearing attempt hit Braden Owen and stayed inside the zone. Comes back behind the net. Ryan Ellis sitting it up the far boards again. Owen. Pass cross stolen by Trace Graham on the far side at the post behind into the right of Yanachili. Here's Aiden Meyer, right wing side of the NBA zone. Trying to drop the puck back, intercepted. Cleared out by Ethan Sides. Aiden Garner. Puck poked off his stick. It's back in the NBA zone. Cleared out, knocked down by Aiden Garner. Back in the NBA end. Garner up offside. Whistle. They call a hand pass. I'm guessing they said the whistle was blown in error. They're going to drop the puck right at center. 5:45 left in regulation. Still 3-1 NBA. Draw one by Page. Puck sent into the NBA zone. Here's Connor Mazzoni. Clearing it out up the far side. Jonah Ferguson sends it back in. Comes back to Ferguson at center. He'll send it back in. Quickly cleared out by Connor Mazzoni. It's iced. Wow. Kind of went through a crowd of players there on its way down. Draw will be to Bland's left. One by NBA. Puck cleared up the far side boards, held in at the right point by Jonah Ferguson, and then cleared out by Connor Mazzoni as it came back down the right wing. Here's Matthew Moore. Behind the Page net, pushed into the boards. Reeve Gable sending the puck around to the near side. At center, Hunter Haley. Back into the NBA zone on the right wing side. Liam Garner just stayed atop the blue line with his right skate blade, kind of like Macklin Celebrini the other day in the game winner against Finland in the semis for Canada. Now Connor Mazzoni on the far side up. Left the puck behind him. Liam Garner dumps it back into the NBA zone down the near side. Connor Mazzoni passing it ahead. Andrew Freck off his stick. And then Camden Mullen wanted to go down the right wing side, but the puck hit the stick of Matthew Moore and went out to center. Now it's back in the NBA zone. So in the slot, Camden Mullen couldn't settle it down and get off a shot. And so the Big Red will ice it. 4:22 to go in regulation. Still 3-1, NBA. It is ended down in Bellevue. JP2 MLK GCS beat Brentwood 2-1. And JP2 will play Mount Juliet on Wednesday night in the Hein Cup Losers Bracket semifinal. Had that for you here in MTSN. First rematch of the playoffs. Those two met in round one of the Hein Cup. JP2 won 6-5. Now whoever wins that game will be one game away from the final on Thursday when they take on Father Ryan on the Losers Bracket final. Abe Lasher at center. Sending the puck back into the Page zone. Aiden Garner passing it up the far side. Now here is Landon Ellis, right wing side of the NBA zone. Now Trace Graham, left wing side of the Page zone. Driving it back, left circle, and a shot from Duke Dalbaugh off a Page stick. Did not get through. Did not get through to Yanuchili. Here's Aiden Garner. Now Madden Chandler trying to dump the puck back into the NBA zone. Braden Owen. Dropping it back. Elijah Selby. Passing up the near side, Madden Chandler deflects it into the NBA end. NBA tried to clear, held in at the right point by Garner. Now here's Matthew Moore, left wing side of the Page zone. Fires it to the end boards from the left point. Puck sliding back into the NBA zone. Picked up Aiden Meyer, but he could not get around Henry Burke. And Burke knocked down Meyer, and he's going to go to the box for tripping. So Page getting a power play with 2:39 left in regulation. They trail 3-1. They've got to score on it. Now they're going to take their timeout. Don't be surprised if play resumes with a Page net empty. So, yep, it is a final from out in Bellevue. JP2 beat Brentwood 2-1. Ethan Hickerson picking up his first win as JP2 goalie. And I said it in the newsletter. I said he was due for one. He got it. Brentwood, I covered one Brentwood game all season. That was back in September 29th when they played Franklin. Lost to Franklin 2-0. That was the only Brentwood game I did all season. Wow. God, what a weird thing. Timeout done, and yes, indeed, the Page net is empty. Extra attacker on for the Spartriots. 6 skaters on 4. Draw is going to be to the right of Bland. NBA win the draw, try and clear it out. Held into the left point, Madden Chandler. Fires it across to the far side. Passed up to the right point, Aiden Garner. Sent back down the right wing to Hudson Halters. Halters drops it back down the right wing side for Garner. Garner with a shot in the right wing board. Stopped by Bland. Meyer behind the net. Sending the puck to the near side. Picked up by Trace Graham. And he fires it past the empty net. But NBA are shorthanded. They can do that as many times as they want for the next minute 28. Aiden Garner with the puck for the Spartriots. Passing it up the far side to Aiden Meyer. Leaves it for Braden Owen. Owen back into the NBA zone. Madden Chandler shot in the top left circle. Off the blocker of Bland into the netting above the glass. 70 seconds left in the power play. Minute 49 to go in regulation. Still 3-1 NBA. Draw to the right of Bland. Won by Page. They have got to score quick to get within 1. Andrew Freck trying to clear it out. Hit the skate of Madden Chandler, stayed in the zone. Passed it down the left wing. Lawson Brown whiffed in the clearing attempt. Under a minute left of the power play for Page. Hunter Haley at the inboards. Trying to send it up the far wall. Duke Dalva trying to clear it. Knocked down by Aiden Garner at the right point. Then he can't hang on to the puck, and Abe Lasher fires it past the net. Madden Chandler through center. Back into the NBA zone on the right wing side. Chandler trying to get it in front for Hunter Haley. Cleared away from the front of the net by Lawson Brown. Held into the blue line and shot past the net to the right of Bland by Aiden Garner. Final minute of regulation. Less than 20 seconds left of the power play for Page. Puck comes to Abe Lasher at center. He tries to fire it into the Page zone. Aiden Garner passing it ahead to Madden Chandler. Chandler handing it off to Halters. Here's Aiden Meyer, right wing side of the NBA zone. Sending it to the inboards behind the net. Penalty time against NBA is up. They're back at even strength. They can no longer shoot at the net without icing. Hudson Halters a shot. Missed the net to the left of Bland. And then he backed into the net and dislodged it. 33.6 seconds left in regulation. 3-1 NBA. It was 1-1. Hunter Haley tied the game at 1 with 8:33 left of the first. That score carried over all the way to 37 seconds into this third period, where Matthew Moore scores what stands to be the game winner. Draw to the left of Bland. Won by NBA. 30 seconds left. Puck in the left wing corner. They're still digging for it. Here's Hunter Haley. Puck taken away. And here's James Lehrman firing it into the empty net from his own blue line. Ethan Sides passed the puck to him, and James Lehrman scores his second goal of the game. And NBA go up 4-1 with 8.3 seconds left. And they will play Franklin on Wednesday night in the losers bracket final. And Page's season will end. A very talented Page group will have to say goodbye to the 2025-2026 GNASH season. Hudson Higgins out taking the draw for Franklin here, for NBA here. Page win it. NBA won it, gave it away to Page, and then Hunter Haley ices the puck. We're going to call icing with him down 3 inside 10 seconds left. Okay. I just let it go. I wouldn't want to risk it a face-off of somebody doing something stupid. Draw to the right of Yanuchili. Won by Page, and that's it. NBA will play Franklin on Wednesday night in the Predators Cup Losers Bracket Final. And Page, who had maybe the most talented team in the whole league, maybe the most talented roster, their season is over, and they're about to say goodbye to a whole crop of talented kids. A whole crop. Let me just get my Brentwood roster out because I'm going to read over those seniors that they're losing. Could this NBA team, they were put in the losers bracket on their first game. Could they be the one coming all the way through and take the Preds Cup? They got it. First they got to beat Franklin, and then they got to get on Bankston early. They got to get on Bankston early and often next week. The goals in this one, Hunter Haley with the only goal for Page for NBA, 2 goals for James Lehrman. Matthew Moore and A. Blasher had the others. Player of the game, man, this is kind of hard. I think I'll give it to James Lehrman for his 2 goals. No, it's kind of cheating because the second one was an empty netter. He got kind of lucky on both. He had a wide open net on the first one because Yanuchili had collided with an NBA player and been knocked out of position. But I'll give it to James Lehrman for having 2 goals. Again, I know it's cheating, but still. All right, so Paige, who will you be saying goodbye to? A lot of kids, man. Justin Yanuchili, Reeve Gable, Hudson Halters, Madden Chandler, Hunter Haley, Braden Owen, Jonah Ferguson, Elijah Selby, Brady Tessier, so both their goalies are gone. Aiden Garner and Aiden Meyer. That is a hell of a lot of talent that Page are losing. A whole hell of a lot. Brentwood are saying goodbye to Brody Wales. He's been in the league forever, it feels like. Wilson Tucker, Reed Michelson, Reed Odell, Harrison Maltz, Will Hubbard. Andrew Salih's dad, Andy, tells me they'll be a better team next year. We'll see. We'll see. Andrew Salee will be back for next year. Brody Bowman. Joey Freed. Beckett Mickle, who is probably a standout freshman. Jaden Charn-Parnish should be back next year. Bryce Zacharight. So a lot of young players in that Brentwood team. But I just wonder how many players will be Brentwood High kids. Any new players, how many of them will be Brentwood High kids? Will it be mostly BA and USN players next year? We'll have to see. But those are the seniors that Page and Brentwood will be saying goodbye to. All right, so the night in GNASH is done. Again, the last night of the season where we have 4 games. Let's go over the final scores from tonight. So in the Predators Cup Winners Bracket Final, it was Nolensville beating Franklin 2-1 to take the first spot in next Monday's final. In the Hein Cup Winners Bracket Final, it was Independent Centennial beating Father Ryan 3-2. So Indy will take the first spot in next Monday's Hein Cup Final. In the second Hein Cup Losers Bracket Quarterfinal, it was JP2MLK GCS beating Brentwood BAUSN 2-1 to bring the Bruins season to an end. And in the Preds Cup Losers Bracket Semifinal, it was Montgomery Bell defeating Page Summit 4-1 to bring the Spartriots season to a close. So here's the schedule for the rest of this week. Only 3 games left this week. I'm planning on covering all of them. Wednesday here on Rink A at Centennial. 7:10. The Hein Cup Losers Bracket Semifinal between 5-seed Mount Juliet Wilson Central Lebanon and 4-seed JP2MLK GCS. 7:10. Again, that's the first rematch of the entire postseason. Mount Juliet and JP2 met in the first round of the Hein Cup, and JP2 won 6-5. That was when Collier Owens suffered his ankle injury, a late collision with Jordan Antar. And then at 8:45, the Preds Cup Losers Bracket Final between Franklin and MBA. The winner of that game will play Nolensville in the Preds Cup Final. 7:05 pregame for a 7:10 face-off between Mount Juliet and JP2, and then an 8:40 pregame for an 8:45 face-off between Franklin and MBA. And then on Thursday night at 7:30 on the North Ring in Antioch, supposed to be the last game of the season in Antioch, we'll see. The Hein Cup Losers Bracket Final, a JP2 winner taking on Father Ryan, the 1 seed, to see who will play Indy in the final next Monday. All right, so before we get out of here, I want to give some on-air shout-outs to Bree and Hayden Bland, parents of Trip Bland, Glenn Bland, father of Trip Bland, Jenny and Greg Dalba, parents of Duke Dalba, Don and Stacy Graham, the parents of Trace Graham. They all purchased our full season package of perks, Buy Me a Coffee membership on our Buy Me a Coffee page. They get their name published in the GNASH newsletter, published almost daily. Or they get their name in the GNASH newsletter, which is published almost daily. They're getting this on-air shout-out for any and all NBA games I cover this season, and they're getting this in any and all NBA games I cover this season as downloadable MP3s. We are selling playoff memberships, playoff-only memberships for those of you who didn't get a full season one. We're getting down to the wire, though. Those memberships expire on Thursday, after Thursday night. We are selling newsletter-only mentions for just $3.75, and the package of perks for just $7.50. That's your name listed in the newsletter. Any on-air shout-outs for any and all games I cover of the team that you support, and downloadable MP3s of any and all games I cover of the team that you support. Go to buymeacoffee.com, buymeacoffee.com/mid10sportsnet, MIDTNSPRTSNET. And where it says Support Middle Tennessee Sports Network, in that top left-hand corner, or that top right-hand corner, type in either $3.75 or $7.50 into that little box. If you're buying the package of perks, please tell me what team you support so I can put you on this little Google Doc list that I've got on Google Drive. And we'll get you in. But again, after Thursday, these memberships are taken off the table, and we're going to offer something else for next week. Again, that's buymeacoffee.com, BUYMEACOFFEE.com/Mid-10 Sportsnet, MIDTNSPRTSNET. And in the top right-hand corner where it says Support Middle Tennessee Sports Network, type in either $3.75 or $7.50 into that little box. And again, if you are buying a package of perks, tell me what team you support. But there are only 7 teams left in this postseason after tonight. And after Wednesday, there will only be 5. And then after Thursday, there will only be 4, because we'll know who our championship game contestants will be after Thursday. Crazy. We got into single digits in the number of teams left in the season after last week, and now we're just whittling it down a little more. Down to 7. After Wednesday, down to 5. After Thursday, down to 4. We're getting there. We're getting there. It's always weird. You know, I know I wrote a little column around this time last year talking about how weird it is when we're so close to the end. And I wrote it 1 year ago next weekend when all we had left was the Hine Cup, if necessary, game between Father Ryan and Station Camp Liberty Creek, plus the All-Star game. We only had 2 games left. We've got 3, anywhere from 6 to 8. The 3 games left this week. Correction, 7 to 9. The 3 games left this week, and then the 2 championship games next Monday. And then, if both tournaments need there if necessary, they'll be here at Centennial next Wednesday, the 4th, March the 4th. If only one needs it if necessary, then they'll play that if necessary first, and then the All-Star game after. But if both tournaments don't need there if necessary, then all we have left is the All-Star game. Well, yeah, it is between the range of 6 to 9. 6 to 9 games. I don't know. I'll have to check. I'll have to do that math again. But it's time for me to let you go because this has dragged on. And I apologize for my voice sounding like crap. If there had been a game on Thursday, there would have been no way in hell I could have done it because I sounded bad on Thursday. Yeah, time for me to let you go. Our on-air finals tonight. Nolensville defeating Franklin 2-1 in the Preds Cup Winners Bracket Final to take the first place in the championship round next week. And in the losers bracket semifinal, Montgomery Belfour, Page Summit 1. Page's season is over. MBA will play Franklin on Wednesday night in the losers bracket final. Again, we'll be in the air at 7:05 for a 7:10 face-off between Mount Juliet and JP2. And then an 8:40 pregame for an 8:45 face-off between Franklin and MBA. I'm Michael Ackney. Thank you all so much for listening. And good night, everybody, from Centennial, as this doubleheader is done.